finally, in his farewell performance with the utility players, Shane Tolomeo! One more time for the utility players!
Shane Tolomeo.
Shane Tolomeo.
Shane Tolomeo.
Is this Shane's retirement video? Because he's actually leaving? Really? I refuse to participate.
Shane Tolomeo.
Shanae Tolomeo.
Shane Tolomeo.
Shane Tolomeo.
Shane Tolomeo is a pixie Peter Pan fanatic. Peter Panatic, as I call him. He is dedicated, craft services man. He's utterly hilarious, endlessly creative, and boundlessly supportive, outside of the stage and on.
Shane Tolomeo is a pumpkin-y, bandana-wearing, bald-headed, sassy, gay nerd. He also happens to be one of the most talented performers I have ever seen in my life. He also happens to be the only person on this planet who actually likes those little circus peanut candies.
Shane Tolomeo is one of those little Lego men. And I know this because he collected them and taught me all about them, but you can bend them, snap them, mold them, add new hair, change the vest. All of a sudden you go from a construction worker to a Marvel character at 2.5. That is Shane Tolomeo.
Shane Tolomeo is a firecracker of energy that is expanding into a more beautiful human being every day that makes me excited for what he is about to accomplish.
Shane is my churl, which if you do not know the backstory of churl, sit down, I'm gonna give you education. It's a term of endearment. It's better than girl. Way better than girl. Your churl is your friend soulmate. The person that you do everything with. The person that just gets you implicitly. And Shane, for the last 6 years, has been my churl. And he has brought such joy to my life. He is brilliant, he is kind, he is generous, he's fucking funny. And he is just a fucking diamond in the motherfucking rough.
God, I don't think he's ever told me that. That sounds like a story you would share, right? I don't know.
Oh, how did he? I don't think he's ever talked about this. Ever. In his life.
What? How did Shane get into the utility players? Oh no. How did Shane become a member of the utility players? I don't think I know this story.
You see, what happened was, this one time I went to a comedy show with my friend, and they were so funny, and I got up on stage for some audience interactive game, and I was like, oh my god, this is so much fun, I want to do this. So naturally, after the show, I went up to the girl who hosted it. Her name was Jessica. At the time, she was a lesbian. And I was like, hey, I'm really funny, I do stand-up. You should let me come play with you guys. And she was like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, whatever, just give me your email address. And I went home that night, and I was very excited, and I typed her an email. Dear Jess, this is Shane. We spoke after the show. And so on. And then I waited. And I waited. And I waited and got no response. And so I said, fine, this isn't meant to be. And like any self-respecting gay, I went to go party at the 5 Star, the local gay bar. I went to the gay bar, and I was getting a drink, and I look over, and on the couch is none other than Jess and her lesbian of the week. So I went up to her, and I said, hi, Jess. I never got an email from you. And she goes, oh, yeah, I've been meaning to respond, and I didn't. But this is the gay episode next week, so you should just come and be a guest for the gay episode. We rehearsed it this time, and this time just show up. And so that day came around at that time, and I grabbed my notebook and my pen, and I went eager beaver, and I showed up, and she was like, wow, nobody brings notebooks and pens. And we sat down, we rehearsed, and then we did our first show, and she loved me, and I never left. The end.
So you basically stalked me
I stalked you
until I let you in.
until you let me in. And it worked.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
No, you're welcome.
No, you're welcome.
You know what? Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Thanks.
I love you.
Watching Shane perform is a religious experience for me.
I know everyone's going to say this, but it's for a reason. It's attention to detail. It is these small idiosyncrasies, the intimate nuances with his object work, with the verbiage that he uses.
His creativity and his attention to detail.
There's something about how he can come into a scene that feels like it's going well, things are good, we're getting laughs, and then he comes in and it's like this explosion. It's like the finale of fireworks on 4th of July. Like you're like, this was a great show, and then it goes off.
Shane is a big kid, and he loves what he does.
Going with the baseball analogy, Shane is my first up to bat, because your first batter has to be someone who's quick, fast, and guaranteed to get on base whether you have him swinging or bunting. And Shane is my guaranteed base hit every time, 100%.
The look of joy that he gets on his face when he knows that he's taken your suggestion and come up with these golden nuggets of improv brilliance, and he just hands them to you on a silver platter with a glee and smile and just goes, "Nyeh."
What I love most about watching Shane perform, it's a really small detail, but the way, and this is not a joke, the way that he sucks on a straw.
He can take the simplest task of literally just throwing a ball and make it the most interesting thing that you have ever seen.
Okay, here's the deep, dark secret. What I love most about watching Shane is the reason I wanted to become a utility player. First show, watched Shane Tolomeo, and I said, that is amazing. I want to learn to do that. I want to be that.
What I love most about watching Shane on stage is his ability to improv multitask. If improv and creating an improv scene is like a game of hacky sack, right? And all of the other players on the stage are working their asses off to keep the ball in the air, and they're just, Shane is the guy at the end of the game who's not even sweaty. His makeup is perfectly in place, and he has like made a sandwich.
Performing with Shane is like having a giant safety net. You feel safe taking risks because you know if you kind of, maybe it doesn't hit, he's gonna come out and make it hit.
Both a rush, but also you feel safe.
It's almost undescribable. It's energetic. Shane is there. He's my bra in a scene. Like, he will have my girls contained. You never worry when you're in a scene with Shane Tolomeo.
I've always said that Amanda is my favorite utility player to watch, but Shane is by far and has always been my favorite utility player to play with.
On every improv team, there is what's called the glue. And as other people are descending into chaos, the glue is the one who holds it all together and makes everything make sense. And Shane is our glue.
When we start a scene with each other, there's a look that Shane and I give each other every single time we do gaze or whose line or any scene, and it's just, I got you, boo.
You know the moment that you lock eyes with him that no matter what happens, what you're gonna do, it's going to be gold.
Improvisers are quick, we're smart and fast. That's how you become a good improviser, and Shane is the fastest of all of us.
A really good fact about Shane is that he is impeccable at wrapping presents.
Shane is so subtly generous. I don't think even the people who are the recipients of his generosity realize it at the time, because it's just Shane.
This is from my own personal thing, but he loves video games and so do I, so it's something we really bonded on, so that's dope.
Also, he's really good at giving super thoughtful presents, and the last 2 Christmases, I have received a soda stream because he knows I am obsessed with fizzy water, and a popcorn maker for the exact same reason.
He rallies his Burning Man brothers and sisters to have an incredible experience each year.
Shane will always be ready to go. You need to go out, you need to go see a movie, you need a drink, you need a late night dinner, you need anything, Shane is your person to call. He will drop everything. Either that or he's the one trying to egg you on, like, come on, it's just a few drinks, come on.
He has this uncanny ability of making you come out anywhere, even if you are exhausted, tired, or just don't want to go. He has this capability of just bringing you out and having a fabulous evening.
He set a goal for going to Chicago, and he's making it happen.
So I have 2 actually. One is kind of one that everybody knows. Homegirl is obsessed with Peter Pan, which I also happen to love and we have bonded over. But Shane also likes taking virgins to Burning Man. He gets this really orgasmic pleasure of, it's like the fucking opening scene of Jurassic Park when it's like old John Hammond is like, and welcome to Jurassic Park. He is like, and welcome to Burning Man. He just loves taking people to the playa for the first time, and he will show you the best time on the playa.
A bad fact about Shane Tolomeo.
This motherfucker is late.
He's always late.
Is late.
Shane Tolomeo is always late.
Always.
And it's not just that you operate off of gay standard time, Shane, like some of us do. It's the way in which you are late, okay? It is the text message that you send 2 minutes before rehearsal is going to begin saying that you're on your way, which means that you have stopped masturbating or stopped playing Dragon Age, and you are now pulling on pants going, oh crap, we have rehearsal. Then we get the text 10 minutes after rehearsal has begun being like, I'm gonna be late. Newsflash, there's traffic. Well, no shit, Sherlock, there's traffic. You're in a quasi-metropolitan area with other people. There's going to be cars. But what that text message means to us is that you are now in your car, about to turn it on and about to leave your house. So it's just not that you're late, which is frustrating. But it's the fact that you can't just be like, ooh, I will be here in 20 minutes because I'm just leaving my house now. Please start practice. It is the lies, Shane. It is the layers and layers of lies. Don't make me throw my beanie off with your layers of lies.
One of my favorite memories from Shane is emblematic of what he does best, and that is attention to detail. He's a paper airplane, and he's going to run into a wall. Very funny. Most people would, myself included, would just run headlong into the wall. But Shane comes up ever so slightly and glides nose first on the wall. And I was like, oh my God. It's like he's just studied paper airplanes for this one gag. It was incredible. And every time he has to do anything, it was with that attention to detail. And that's the most amazing thing.
I was going through my Rolodex and I was thinking about what I've loved the most, and honestly, my favorite moments is every time he's ever done sound effects. There's just something about the way that he takes on every part of it and eats the fucking cheese like you wouldn't believe, and it's such a joy to watch.
2009, season 1 of the Utility Players, over 6 years ago. At the time, we were still doing sketches. And Shane wrote this sketch called Gold Star, and Gold Star is a gay man who has never slept with a woman. And Shane wanted to do a sketch about how he had his gold star and he finally wanted to get rid of it. And so the sketch was about him trying to have sex with me, who was kind of going through a butch lesbian phase at the time. And the joke of the sketch was that we were on this bed, and right as he was going to decide that he couldn't have sex with me, the bed was supposed to collapse backward, and then he would slide into me and accidentally penetrate me, thus losing his gold star. And we had no budget for props. We were in this tiny little theater on 4th Street, and we stayed up all night, figuring out how to make a table that we had thrown a sheet over to be the bed collapse at just the right moment so that it would work.
The reaction that he had with Chris, Amanda's welcome to Denny's, and the way that Shane screamed.
World worst place on an acid trip.
Shane, I think we stumbled into the Republican National Convention. Back away slowly. I don't know which way is back.
Hi, welcome to Denny's.
So I have this picture from my utility player birthday. First time I ever performed on stage with the utility players. It was in 2009 in November, and Shane is up in a scene with Josh, and they're having one of those moments where Shane does one of those things he only can do. But I thought we had arranged this, and it's just this comedic exchange between the two of them, and I have this look of joy on my face that I don't even remember how long it's been since I've had that. And Shane captures that joy. He captures the joy of improv.
I mean, pretty much any sound effects. I could throw anything my voice threw onto the stage, he would just take it and run with it. Number 1 for me was Fifth Element. We did sound effects, the scene was the Fifth Element, and he flipped out what looked like a little pass, and as he mouthed the words, I went, multi-pass.
Where's that?
Oh, no. Spring. Multipass.
If someone screws up speech, he will call that person out in the scene as a yes and. When someone said, Gerald or something like that, they messed up the word, and then he came on his brother, Jerry. You know, he will always add to the scene with someone else's mistake.
The murder mystery where we all played holidays, and Shane was Baby New Year. And right before the show, he asks, can he be like a raver Baby New Year? And then he just comes in this ridiculous costume.
It's so hard to choose a favorite moment of mine of Shane's from the stage because there are just so many. I mean, if you think about all the rehearsals and all the shows and all the workshops and special engagements that we have done over 6 years, it's insane to think of a few, but I have. One of my favorite is from Games of Our Lives, which is my favorite game to play with Shane of all time. And it's called Fluff and Fold. And the reason why Fluff and Fold was one of my favorite games of all time is because Shane Tolomeo is so fucking fast that he blurted out pun after laundry pun after detergent pun, one right after the other. And it became this brilliant game of how many puns we could do in one scene that progressed and had substance and was beautiful and brilliant all on its own, but just was peppered with puns.
Did you forget something?
Probably, and I'm sure you're going to remind me.
Yeah, that didn't feel damny soft.
You know what,
It wasn't
Chance?
even snuggled.
Chance?
I can't even bounce with this.
You know what, Chance?
What?
I'm a little tired of soft things in our relationship.
That would make two of us. I would give anything for you to make me as these towels. But no. No.
Ow.
Damn it, Kyle. What does this come to?
I have something to confess to you.
The tide is changing.
The first time I saw him do Denny, I was still learning him as a performer and as an improviser, and I hadn't seen him do a lot of character work. So the first time I saw him do his Denny character, he took such a risk. And one, it was a ridiculous character. Two, it was a highly physical character that he committed to. And three, it was a character that could be perceived as kind of edgy, but he played it with such a richness and sincerity that it wasn't offensive, and it was just really beautiful to watch and hysterical.
The first sketch Shane ever wrote for the utility players was called Wii-tastic. Ian and Josh were way too into the Wii tennis, and they played really, really hard. And when Shane's character got there, he just, tink, tink. It's kind of similar to the improv metaphor of Shane in the hacky sack. Anyway, Shane does this pratfall at the end of this scene that is so believable that people gasped when he hits the ground.
Ready? Ready?
It doesn't take much.
It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, I really think you're just trying too hard.
There's no such thing as trying too hard. Hold on a second.
Okay, take your time.
All right.
Do you need a minute?
No, it's fine.
Are you sure?
No, we're good.
We can wait till you start.
No, it's okay, man.
All right.
I'm ready to kick your ass right now.
All right, let's do this.
During the Life Alert show, and it's right when we were playing. I was an old lady, and he was in the car sitting next to me driving, and I just hit my Life Alert button, and instantly he responds with, "Hurry, quick, run away, they have 2 minutes to catch up to us." And it was just this beautiful moment and way to capture that and end the scene, and it was my all-time favorite.
I think that was one of those homosexuals you warned me about.
Oh
no!
Oh shoot, I just touched my Life Alert button.
They'll never find us.
We love the game props. There was this time that we had this giant barrel, and Shane was Donkey Kong jumping over the barrel, and just something about the way that motherfucker jumped in the air exactly like Donkey Kong, and I just lost my shit. It was so funny. And then another time we were playing the game props, and Miley Cyrus was really big at the time, so it must have been like 2 years ago, and we had a shower head. And Shane came in on the shower head like a wrecking ball, and his tongue was out, and just the look on his face, I will never forget that.
One of my favorite offstage memories with Shane I personally loved our recent trip to San Francisco and going to the Booty Mash Club because I felt like one of the cool kids. I got to go to a party with the boys.
Some of my favorite offstage memories was actually recently when we were dancing until 2 in the morning at a club in San Francisco.
And I would also say one of my favorite memories as well offstage was before I joined Utility Players and reconnecting with Shane after high school and him telling me, you need to come see this troupe I'm in, it's so much fun. And that a few months later, I was part of it.
In Ireland, just seeing his sense of adventure and his ability to make even a boring bus drive with uncomfortable smelling tourists really funny.
Most people don't realize this, but me and Shane practically lived together for like 6 months or a year. And so some of my favorite memories are cuddling up with him and Brandon and watching Avatar: The Last Airbender snuggled together in a blanket, just the 3 of us, and a movie and popcorn and snacks because Shane and Brandon always had cereal, I had snacks.
Some of my favorite offstage memories, mostly just kind of talking about pop culture with him. Because we're kind of in the same vein as far as being big comic book nerds and big video game nerds, and he was the one in the troupe that I could really bond with. Talk about Dragon Age Inquisition and Mass Effect. Nobody knows what we're talking about, but we do.
One of them would have to be the time that we ate an entire cherry pie at the dojo by ourselves. We mowed down before anything like even started. We ate an entire cherry pie. An entire cherry pie.
Some of my favorite offstage memories with Shane are the holidays. Shane and I have spent every Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter together since 2009. I'm also going to miss backstage with Shane before shows. Like, this kid is just funny all the time. And like, we just have these little moments. I have to jump up and down giggling because he's just so cute and funny. Also, there was the time that he accidentally grabbed my boob.
Shane is one of my best friends. I've spent so much time with him. He took me to my first gay bar here in Reno. He took me to my first burn. Every time that we would go on a utility player road trip, it would just go without saying that Shane and I were sitting next to each other, that we were sharing a bed together, that we did everything together. He made Reno for me.
Ladies first.
What are we gonna miss most about Shane?
What am I not going to miss about Shane?
I am going to miss my scene stealer. Because fuck you, Shane Tolomeo. And you know that when I say that, it's a true sign of my affection.
What am I gonna miss, Shane? I'm gonna miss my hat, buddy. He doesn't pull it off like you do. I'm gonna miss my hat, buddy.
I think what I'm gonna miss most about Shane is the fact that when I'm performing with Shane, I'm performing with one of my favorite artists in the entire world.
What I'm going to miss most about Shane is he's just a little ball of joy, and he's sassy and fierce and fabulous, and he always has a smart-ass remark to make you smile when you maybe aren't feeling like smiling.
His pixie spirit.
His absolute amazing ability to be so physical.
I'm gonna miss just his energy as like a little ball of energy and his flexibility in both scenes and kind of life and the way he moves things. That's what I'm gonna miss, this little ball of energy.
So this is the part of the video where pairings of the utility players are here to talk about you, Shane, but guess what? You're my partner. You're my +1. You're my churl. You're my homo partner for life. You are my Disney singing, Broadway loving nerd. And you're not here. But that's okay. Because you are gonna go to Chicago and it's gonna be amazing. And somebody one day will sit here. Someday. Or better yet, we're gonna get rich and famous, and then you're gonna come back from Chicago, or you're gonna die in the winter frozen tundra.
In 10 years, I see Shane, 6'4", full head of hair.
In 10 years, I see Shane exactly wherever he wants to be. Because he is the type of person where he can go out and just make things happen. But in a perfect world, I see Shane in 10 years in this fabulous utility player mansion because we've made it rich and we're all sitting on the veranda drinking mint juleps.
In 10 years, I see Shane still on the stage. That is hands down. I can see him on television.
Shane is evolving, and he has grown so much from when I know him. It's really hard to say. He has this beautiful wanderlust now within him. I could see him traveling the world. I could see him married with kids. I could see him on a hit television show. I can see him doing really anything. I hope it's something with me.
In 10 years, and 5 years, and 20 years, I think Shane is going to be wherever he wants to be. And doing whatever he loves doing really well.
In 10 years, I see Shane back in my arms because we are professionals. We are stars living our dreams, and we have made it so big that we have been reuniting and we are working together once again.
I see Shane having a successful improv show in Chicago, and I see him on film, and I see him relishing in his accomplishments at Burning Man every year and retaining his essential character.
I want you to go to Chicago. Hold on.
Shane, my wish is that the moment that you get to Chicago, you don't stop moving.
Shane, I want you to go to Chicago. The day you arrive, before you know where you're gonna live, before you know where you're gonna work, walk into the doors of I.O., walk into the doors of Annoyance, walk into the doors of Second City, figure out which one is gonna be your new home, and sign up that day.
You keep going and you pound that pavement and you just make every single step there as bright and as full of energy and love and life that you did here. And I have one request, that you call us every so often during practice and get us updated and posted on how you're doing. And I just love you.
Shane, I want to say I'm sorry. I want to apologize to you. We were really close friends, and I don't know what happened, but you know, we grew apart, and we were still part of the family and the utility player family, and I really regret not repairing that relationship before you're gonna ship off and leave us. You gave me a lot of confidence. You inspired me to be a better performer. You were an inspiration, and I thank you for those things. Again, I love you. You're an amazing person with an amazing talent, and you're gonna soar. Stay focused, stay devoted to your love of the craft, and stay devoted to your friends like you always are. I love you, and I'm gonna miss you, and go tear some shit up.
Shane. I know that I've given you a lot of shit for leaving, but I think it's because I've been trying to get past it, because I don't know what this family and what this stage is going to be like without you. And much like any comedian, we mask it with humor and sarcasm. But in all honesty, you're one of my best friends. And I think you're somebody who I ironically look up to because you have such a passion for improv and for entertaining people. And I think you know that joy of hearing that laughter and how it fills your heart, and being able to spend this time with you on stage has filled my heart up so full, and I've cherished every moment of it, and I can't wait to see what you do, and I can't wait until we're so big that you're forced to come home. I love you so much.
Shane, I don't know what I'm gonna do without you. You just made everything. It's been such an honor to know you and to work with you and perform with you. And I just want you to know that I picked up my life and moved here 6 years ago, and it changed my life. And so know that you are doing the right thing. And know that I'm so proud of you. But I think Scarecrow can have missed you most of all. Because you just got me. And you loved me. And you supported me. But know that you always have a home here. That no matter what happens, you can always come back. But I know that you are going to go to Chicago, and I know you are going to make your dreams come true, because that's the person that you are. And I can't wait to be sitting somewhere and watching TV, and there you are, and I finally get to be the person that's like, I know him. I performed with him. He's my best friend. And how amazing that experience is going to be. And also, when you land that big movie deal, I would like a phone call being like, hey, Churro, I need you to come down to Chicago right now because we's gonna be in a movie together, but it's just some small details that we can work out later. I love you, and I will see you at the next burn.
I just know you're gonna kill it. And I love you.
Shane, I know you have to go. Because I know that the energy of you leaving and the energy of you going after your dreams is gonna be the thing that brings us back together. It's like we're in a fucking romantic comedy or something. And by letting you go, I know that we're going to achieve our dreams. And you leaving is only motivating me more to work harder to get you back. And you're so talented, and for years I would say that I didn't have a favorite utility player, and then about 3 years ago I came out as Amanda being my favorite utility player, but the day you told me that you were leaving, I realized that you were secretly my favorite. And I know that we're gonna be fine without you because we've always been fine and we've always marched forward. Just remember, equivalent or better. When you give up something this big in your heart, the universe will bring you its equivalent or better. And I'm gonna miss you so much. And I love that you're following your dreams. But seriously, who the fuck wants to move to Chicago? It's fucking cold, Shane.
A bad fact about Shane would be that he, in high school, during a rehearsal, he broke up with a girl, during rehearsal and had to we like stopped it because she was crying and she was so upset, and our drama teacher was so pissed off at him because he broke up with her during rehearsal. And I think that's a really horrible fact about Shane. That, and he's always fucking late.
Who is Shane Tolomeo?
A bitch.
Shane Tolomeo! Oh, normal?
That's my favorite.
The best.
Shane, I know this is what you've been waiting for a while. Now that you're leaving, I figured I'd give it to you.
Should we do a take where I'm like, Ian, your red shirt looks weird?
Remember Napa when you didn't fucking show up and then he drove in his own fucking car to
Yeah,
Napa?
that was, oh my god.
Is that recording?
Yes.
Aww.
Stacy led.
At least you didn't smell it this time. I just realized you're wearing tie-dye on tie-dye.
The only thing that matches tie-dye is tie-dye.
So this is the part of the video where Jess has different pairings of the utility players sitting here talking about you and all the fabulousness that is you. However, I'm up here alone. Why, Shane?
Hey, I haven't gone yet. So
No, Dirk, you can't sit there!
Okay.
That was great.